G'day and welcome to Redriven. Now, to celebrate the release of No Time to Die, we figured what are the best James Bond movie cars that you can actually go and buy? Sure, if you're wondering what to do with that $2 million that you've found in your tuxedo jacket pocket, go and buy an Aston Martin DB5. But for those of us that aren't on Daniel Craig money, what are the best Bond movie cars that are actually affordable? Now, before we answer that, like all of our Redriven Top 5 videos, there are some rules that these cars had to stick by. So to qualify for this list, these cars had to be driven by James Bond. And also, we wanted to share the love across the various generations of Bond. But because 6 different actors have played Bond, but this is a top 5 list, well, one of those actors or one of those Bond generations has to miss out. And it kind of makes sense that George Lazenby and his one Bond movie missed the cut. So with 5 Bond generations to work with, here are our top 5 Bond cars that you can actually go and buy. Okay, kicking things off, let's start at the very start of the Bond films. It's the Sean Connery era. And look, while the obvious choice would be the iconic Aston Martin DB5 that we just mentioned earlier, because their prices are hovering between $1.5 to like $2.5 million, they're hardly affordable. So instead, it's from Diamonds Are Forever, it's the Ford Mustang Mark I. While Bond used the Mark I to outrun the police through the streets of Las Vegas, you can get behind the wheel to responsibly cruise around, preferably not outrunning the police, for around about 100,000 Australian dollars. Now, $100,000 might be stretching the concept of affordability, but it's very hard to put a price on cool, and this thing just exudes cool. Although, these days, even though that 351 V8 sounds incredible, with an output of around about 200 kilowatts and suspension components that sit closer to horse and cart levels of technology more than modern car standards, even the more conservative of hot hatches will leave this thing for dead. But Sean Connery in something like a Hyundai i30N just isn't very Bond, is it? Okay, next up we're into the Roger Moore era of Bond movies, and this car is a genuine Bond car. They are pretty affordable, and there are a few of them out there for sale. It's the Lotus Esprit. While Roger Moore drove a couple of Esprit models from the S1 in The Spy Who Loved Me to the Turbo in For Your Eyes Only, you can get behind the wheel of the Wedgie Lotus for around about 60,000 Australian dollars. Okay, granted, for this budget, look, it most likely won't be one of the early series Esprits like Bond's pair. Good examples of those are well over $100,000 these days. But the late 1980s to early 1990s Esprits will still have you living out your Bond driving fantasies, short of any submarine antics. And while the earlier series Esprits exude that immensely cool 1980s aesthetic, these later models should be nicer to drive and potentially even more reliable. A special mention also needs to go to the Citroën 2CV from For Your Eyes Only, which can be snapped up for around about 30,000 Australian dollars. Although the Esprit is far more Bond than the funky Citroën. Next up, we delve into the Timothy Dalton era of Bond, and look, as much as we wanted this car to be the beautiful Aston Martin V8 Vantage, with prices ranging from $200,000 to $700,000 these days, it's hardly affordable unless you're a multi-millionaire. So instead, from the living daylights, it's the Audi 200 Quattro. Timothy Dalton's Bond can be seen driving a pair of 200 Quattros, once in Bratislava and the other in Tangier, Morocco. Bond's 200 Quattro was suitably provided in the highest trim spec called the Exclusive, which featured lovely BBS rims. And even though tracking a good condition 200 Quattro down these days will be a Bond mission level of a challenge, especially here in Australia, if you can find one, less than 15,000 Aussie dollars should get you behind the wheel. However, even though the engineers that enabled the Quattro Coupe to World Rally domination also developed the chassis for the 200 Quattro, the lack of firepower from the turbocharged 5-cylinder engine these days won't exactly set the world on fire. And even though you can have a Bond car for less than $15,000, you might want to keep a few $1,000s aside to pay for any potential mechanical issues that might arise. Now we're into the Pierce Brosnan era of Bond, which controversially for us car guys, is the BMW era of Bond, which just never really sat right for me. But the Brosnan Bond car that you can comfortably afford to buy is the BMW 750iL from Tomorrow Never Dies. Now, the 5.4-litre 12-cylinder 750iL retailed for around about $270,000 when new here in Australia in the mid to late 1990s. But these days, even an immaculate condition one will be asking around about $25,000. Although, look, for that price, you are going to miss out on those bulletproof body armor and glass features, the Stinger missiles hidden in the sunroof, and the metal cutter hiding behind the badge options that Q selected from BMW. But you will still have yourself an exquisitely designed and luxurious Bond car. And while many feel that Tesla's Smart Summon feature deserves the credit for mobile phone operated remote controlling abilities when it comes to passenger cars, 007's Ericsson mobile phone remote control did a damn fine job at negotiating quite a challenging car park. Although we're pretty sure that that wasn't actually a BMW factory option as such. Still, $25,000 for a genuine Bond car is a bit of a bargain, as long as you ignore the potential mechanical and maintenance costs. Now, before we get to the Daniel Craig era, if you're enjoying this video, can I ask a favour? Can you please hit those like, subscribe and bell icon buttons? And after the video, go and check us out on the socials. Okay, so look, thanks to Daniel Craig's era of Bond having this immense affinity with all things Aston Martin, and Aston Martins being not very affordable for the vast majority of us, this one was a challenge. And while he's seen driving everything from a Ford Mondeo in Casino Royale to a Range Rover Sport in Quantum of Solace, the car we've gone for is technically his boss's company car. So from Skyfall, it's the Jaguar XJ long wheelbase. Used by Bond to chauffeur M after Silver's failed assassination attempt, you can help your loved ones avoid their arch nemesis in this luxurious Jaguar from anywhere from 40 to 80,000 Australian dollars. Now, if you ignore the cost of maintenance and upkeep, this thing is an absolute bargain, as the big Jag was asking anywhere from $200,000 to $380,000 here in Australia when brand new. We actually found a 2015 XJ long wheelbase in premium luxury trim, asking just over $50,000. That means it's lost over $150,000 in value in just 6 years. That equates to it losing $25,000 a year in value, which is awesome if you're buying a used one today, and bloody horrible if you bought one brand new. While it might not carry the same gadget-equipped, battle-hardened image as some of Bond's other cars, there's no denying that the XJ, especially in black, exudes a liberal dose of a Bond-esque understated cool. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and what did you think of the list? Let us know in those comments. And also, what makes up your top 5 Bond cars list? Again, let us know in those comments. And remember, can you please hit those like, subscribe and bell icons? It really does us a massive favour. And after the video, go check us out on the socials. See you next time. For those of us, $2 million you've found in your tuxedo? Oh, kid. It's the Lotus Elise. No, it's not. It's the Elise? No. Esprit, you fucking idiot. It was so good till then. It's the BMW 750iL from Tomorrow Never Dies. And I've got something in my eye. What the hell is that? Did a fam dime job? Let us know. Lettuce. Not cabbage, lettuce. After this video, go and check us out on the socials. I'm doing heaps of stuff with my hands.